There's not gonna be a horror show. This isn't the start of something dark and scary. We're not going down a crazy path that's gonna put people's lives and rights in danger. That's not going on right now.
This morning, new surveillance footage of an armed group of men carrying flags emblazoned with swastikas, marching through the streets of Columbus, Ohio.
The wave of offensive text messaging is targeting students everywhere, including here, the nation's second largest school district, LAUSD. And the hateful messaging is branching out to include Latino students, to include LGBTQ students.
We want our students to be patriotic. We want our students to love this country. And we want all students' religious liberty to be protected. I will now say a prayer.
God bless Johnson & Johnson. God bless GE. God bless Citigroup. Amen.
Let's just say there's wild shit going on, as always. We're going to start tonight with Trump declaring his plan to declare a national emergency and use the military for mass deportation.
And Trump's picks for border czar and Homeland Security secretaries say they plan to prioritize deporting criminals, but the Biden administration says it's already been doing that. Let's bring in Leon Rodriguez, former director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services under President Obama, for more on that.
Yep. The Democrats are like, we've already been doing mass deportations. What are you talking about, Republicans?
Leon, thanks for coming on. Trump has repeatedly said that he plans to declare a national emergency and use the military to enact his mass deportations. He hasn't revealed many details beyond that, though. So how would that work? How would declaring an emergency enable him to then enact mass deportations?
Well, I think there are going to be a lot of legal questions as to whether and to what extent he can use the military for that purpose and declare a national emergency. But I think the idea is to leverage resources that the military has to bolster what Immigration and Customs Enforcement and Department of Homeland Security more generally have. We do have to remember back to...
If I'm not mistaken, you can't use the U.S. military on U.S. soil, right? That's like in the Constitution.
The experience of the first Trump administration. They attempted to use the National Guard. In fact, then Governor Kristi Noem sent the South Dakota National Guard to support
Jelly, good evening.
Control efforts. And generally that is remembered as a sort of a non-entity in the sense that there really was not much that troops not trained in border control, not trained in immigration enforcement, really could do to bolster those efforts. And so the question is, how is this time going to be different?
There's not going to be a horror show. This isn't the start of something dark and scary. We're not going down a crazy path that's going to fucking put people's lives and rights in danger. That's not going on right now.
Demonstration by neo-Nazis over the weekend in Columbus, Ohio. The armed group marched carrying flags with swastikas on them. Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas has the story. Good morning, Pierre.
George, good morning. The hate was right out in the open. So brazen, Ohio's governor felt compelled to respond.
This morning, new surveillance footage of an armed group of men carrying flags emblazoned with swastikas, marching through the streets of Columbus, Ohio. The troubling incident happening Saturday afternoon. Each person dressed head to toe in all black, masks concealing their faces. They shouted vile and racist speech against Jews and people of color. Ohio's governor denouncing the neo-Nazis, writing, "There is no place in this state for hate, bigotry, anti-Semitism, or violence." Hate crimes have been on the rise for the past several years, according to data from the FBI. The Anti-Defamation League also notes a stunning increase in acts of anti-Semitism, with incidents doubling last year compared to 2022. Overnight, African-American community leaders in Columbus taking to the same streets in a peaceful counter-protest.
Today, it sends a clear message that this cannot happen in our city, in this state, nor in this nation. We're not going to be repelled. We're not going to be moved back.
Just a week ago in Michigan, another group carrying Nazi flags outside of
Party, my man. It's not January 20th yet. Joe Biden is your president.
Come on, man.
Dumb fuck.
Theater production of The Diary of Anne Frank.
We asked both President Biden and President-elect Trump about the Ohio incident. Biden responded denouncing
Shutting down the performance of The Diary of Anne Frank. That doesn't sound like a bad omen.
Columbus, and apparently no direct threat of violence. No arrests were made. The First Amendment allows for all kinds of free speech, including speech dripping with hate. Robin?
All right, PR, thanks to you.
Socialist Daunt, welcome in. Good evening. Neo-Nazi marches also accompanied by a new wave of hateful texts targeting even more groups. We had the texts about reporting for your slave duties or picking cotton or something sent to a bunch of black students. Now we have offensive messages being sent to Hispanic students and the LGBTQ community.
The FBI says that a new wave of offensive and racist texts targeting Hispanic and LGBTQ communities have surfaced. Now, some of the messages even are going out to students.
And they're asking victims to come forward, report that type of abuse. Carlos Aceto joining us live in Hollywood. He's got the latest on that. Carlos?
Rick, Karine, good evening. The wave of offensive text messaging is targeting students everywhere, including here, the nation's second largest school district, LAUSD. And the hateful messaging is branching out to include Latino students, to include LGBTQ students. So civil rights organizations, they're speaking out, demanding that the school district do more to keep its students safe.
We have a climate of hate now. We have a climate of racial
We certainly do.
It's not new, but I think it has intensified, unfortunately, since the election.
LA's Urban Policy Roundtable president not mincing words as he describes the current political climate that he believes is leading to hateful and offensive messages geared towards students of color.
Take the text seriously, and students and parents, when you receive racist texts, report them. Don't hide them.
He's talking about text messages like this received by Hispanic students at LAUSD, informing them they would be deported. The FBI confirms that the offensive texts are being sent to members of the Latino and LGBTQ communities. The agency began investigating previous reports of dozens of messages being sent to black students following the presidential election. The racist text messages were about slaves and picking cotton. The source of the anonymous messages is unclear. A spokesperson for Donald Trump.
Cool B-roll they showed there.
Both Republican and Democratic lawmakers have spoken out against
the hacker video.
But there's growing concern that this type of communication can lead to violence at schools.
The LA Unified School District, the officials, top to bottom, have to continue to be vigilant, have to continue to take action. And that action is tight security, counseling, and be on guard.
Now, LAUSD had previously put out a statement condemning these types of messages while asking students and parents to alert them immediately if they receive one of these hateful messages. We're live in Hollywood. Carlos Salcedo, KTLA 5 News.
I wouldn't see how it wouldn't be easy to subpoena one of the carriers and find out where those texts came from. I don't know how that's not a thing. Are you telling me the FBI doesn't have that kind of fucking technology? Bullshit. That one should have been super easy to take care of. These people aren't crazy. They're not in a cult. Bragwitz, Tadpole. Who else snuck in here on me? Josephus, welcome in. Well, yeah, they got backdoors to backdoors, exactly. And like, if it's just like some kids playing a prank, if it's like a Reddit thing, it should be super fucking sloppy and easy to find. So I don't know why we haven't nipped that in the bud yet. These people aren't crazy. They're not in a cult. At least 7 Oklahoma superintendents are refusing to show Ryan Walters' video to students. Ryan Walters being the Oklahoma superintendent, or overseeing the State Board of Education, at least 7 large Oklahoma school districts said Friday they have no intention of showing a video of State School Superintendent Ryan Walters discussing his state agency's new Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism, despite Walters saying doing so was required. Let's see what we think about this little video here, shall we?
We are excited to announce a new office here in the Oklahoma State Department of Education. That will be the Office of Religious Liberty and Patriotism. For too long in this country, we've seen the radical left attack individuals' religious liberty in our schools. We will not tolerate that in Oklahoma. Your religious liberties will be protected. We've also...
When has the left attacked religious liberties in school? Courts have repeatedly upheld. Students are allowed to pray to themselves. They're allowed to bring Bibles and read Bibles. That the Bible can be taught as, a historical work. So I don't know what this motherfucker is on about.
Also seen patriotism mocked and a hatred for this country pushed by woke teachers unions. We will not tolerate that in any school in Oklahoma.
Woke teachers unions. Always with the woke stuff.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
Lily, good evening.
We want our students to be patriotic. We want our students to love this country. And we want all students' religious liberty to be protected. I will now say a prayer. And to be clear, students, you don't have to join. But if you so wish, I'm going to go ahead and pray. Dear God, thank you for all the blessings you give our country. I pray for our leaders to make the right decisions. I pray in particular for President Donald Trump and his team as they continue to bring about change to the country. I pray for our parents, teachers, and kids that they get the best education possible and live high quality lives. I also pray that we continue to teach love of country to our young people and that our students understand what makes America great and that they continue to love this country. Amen.
He mentioned patriotism. I think we do need more patriotism in this country. I think me in the chat, we should totally do the Pledge of Allegiance right now since he brought it up. Will you join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Thank you very, very much for letting us little kids live here. It really, really was nice of you. You didn't have to do it. And it's really not freaky to have little kids mindlessly recite this anthem every day and pledge their life to a government before they're old enough to really think about what they're saying. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is not a form of brainwashing. This is really the greatest country in the whole world. All the other countries suck. And if this country ever goes to war, as it often wants to do, I promise to help go and kill all the other countries' kids. God bless Johnson & Johnson. God bless GE. God bless Citigroup. Amen.
Very good, kids. Now come and get your Ritalin.